Hi, everyone. I'm thrilled to be with Melissa Santoro today. She and I are in the board directors program, corporate board directors program, which is how I know Melissa. Melissa has a background in finance and strategy with 20 years of experience, primarily with Fortune 500 companies in the retail and consumer goods industries. She's had recent roles in startup-like divisions, newly formed legal entities, bringing something new and innovative to the organization. She's also dedicated to promoting diversity in leadership, and she's involved in angel investing, board membership, and various leadership groups. Melissa, I'm so excited for you to be here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Annalisa, for having me. I'm thrilled to be here with you today.
Melissa, let's talk about how you have propelled your career. You've taken many different directions, everything from startups to Fortune 500 companies. What has been in your back pocket as a skill or a mindset that has helped you be successful?
So I think one of my strongest strengths is I'm able to go in to something, anything, and figure it out. So being a really good problem solver, having a lot of curiosity to understand something, asking a lot of questions, and being able to build and rebuild. Often in business, you learn and you pivot and you grow. Also, I think throughout my career, I've been the one where there's a project that no one on the team wants to do, and I just say, "Oh, I'll just take it. I'll work on that." And you never know where that leads you because it could always lead to something really interesting, and you learn something new, but an exciting new project, a new pathway.
I want to talk about that idea because often there is uncertainty. A project comes up as a woman. It's often, if it's not a project people want, hey, Melissa, Annalisa, can you take on this project? So I'm curious, what's the difference between being the person who proactively wants one of these projects that feel risky, that feel uncertain, or being a person who gets dumped on? What's your perspective there?
Well, you certainly have to have boundaries. You certainly have to understand the difference there and know when other people need to be involved in the project and have some accountability. But I'll give you some examples. One of my roles in my career was I ended up through kind of taking every project, and it started really small. Like someone's like, "Hey, can someone put together a list of fine jewelry doors?" And I was a director at the time. So what? Oh, okay. You want me to spend time pulling a list of doors? You wouldn't expect that to be a project, but I didn't think of it that way. I just said, "Oh, that's fine. I'll do it." And then what were we doing it for? Well, we ended up launching a whole pilot program around fine jewelry. And I was able to be involved in the whole project, doing all the ROI analysis for it. And as it turned out, my responsibility from then on was doing all the ROI analysis on the new initiatives. And at the time, I have to tell you, that was such an exciting role because I was in retail, and it was not to date myself, but it was like 2011. RFID, buy online in store, omni-channel, those were all the new hot initiatives that were coming up. And I was the one with my team doing all the analysis on those projects for the company, which ultimately led to the decision making of whether, like, which direction to launch in on those initiatives, and which ones were going to be first, and how we were going to, if we were going to get capital allocation for them. You never know what a little task will turn into.
I hear Melissa curiosity that it's not just about taking on the projects that feel risky and maybe are not popular. It's actually also about being curious. You've navigated in many different, not only types of companies from startup to Fortune 500s, but also in different industries. And I'm curious how curiosity has played a role in taking on what feels like zigzag type of opportunities. It's not just a project in fine jewelry now that I'm talking about, but actually big decision in terms of what jobs to take. How has curiosity played a role here?
Yeah, I've never had that fear of I can't change industries. And in finance and strategy, I've always looked at it as a very transferable skill, where some people do think you're very pigeonholed to your industry. And so I started out in consumer products. I went into insurance for a while, went into retail, but even within those different industries, the functional teams that I worked on, I went everywhere. And just having the curiosity to learn and to engage with new stakeholders and to help influence the decision makings in the organization.
So let's try to get even more drilled down to your superpower. This idea of curiosity is about being open-minded, that even if you don't have background, context, expertise, relationships, you're going to be curious to try it. Be curious to try it. So there's a curiosity to learn about it and try it. So I feel like that is a theme that you're talking about. The other theme that I hear you saying is that there is, along with the curiosity, a confidence that you can do it. And even if you are new to fine jewelry, I'm definitely new to that, you have this confidence that your curiosity and your skills will get you through. So that's definitely something I'm also hearing. And would you say there's another thing that has gotten you to success on top of having strong skills, confidence, and curiosity?
Definitely having a strong support system and a strong community, and stepping into something new and figuring it out. Part of it is having a resource to go to teach you. And I'll give you an example. When my last role in Macy's, I worked in Macy's Backstage, and it was unique in that I covered the whole entire financial profile of the company, of that legal entity. And so I ran the whole P&L. Whereas in Macy's, because the organization was so large, you were very siloed into one specific, almost a line item on the P&L, because it was so large what you managed. And so I got this package, one of my first, okay, fill out the S1 package, which is the whole entire package of financial statements. And so, okay, this tab I am really familiar with, and this tab I know what it is, but how do I fill out these different lines? And I was calling people from different departments, like, come to my office right now. And utilizing your network and having a support system is going to be critical also in achieving success.
It's almost like you say, let's take big leaps that for you, when you explain it to me, don't feel like huge leaps, changing industries, changing jobs, taking on a new role, new company. And for you, curiosity, confidence in your skills, but also knowing that even if you don't know how to do it, you can call, phone a friend, or phone someone who's not even maybe yet a friend. And I'm curious because I'm curious. I'm curious because these skills, the curiosity, the confidence, and then the community, were they things that you had already been when you were young, say 6-year-old Melissa? Were you always curious, always confident, always knowing and relying on your community? Or any of these skills you had to build over time?
So as an example, as a young child, I had a really large family. I have a really large family. I'm the oldest of 5. My parents both come from large families, and I had a large extended family. My mother's side of the family, we had 16 cousins altogether, and two male and 14 female. And I always had a very supportive community in my personal life. I always had really close friends from a young age growing up that acted as a really supportive community, and then over time learned to grow that in business as well, through your college network, your early career network. And then just, I would say, in the early part of my career, I was very good about having a supportive community and a network within finance, within the functions that I supported or the organization I worked for. But more recently, I've expanded well beyond that and built my community out further. And so the network, and through curiosity and the network, that combination have grown and supported it. And the confidence, it's there, but it gets stronger over time as you really embrace your authentic self and you just show up as who you are, I think that that's where your confidence really comes out. And I would say that comes, for me anyway, it came later in my career. Even though I was really good at my jobs and very talented, I never was overly confident or felt like totally comfortable in my skin, where now I'm just like, here I am, everyone.
Melissa, I want to talk about this offering that's coming up. And I know we both share a passion for diverse leadership, diversity in leadership. Could you talk about the program that you're going to be offering?
Yes, thank you for asking. So I'm, for the first time, I just completed my instructor certificate, and I'm launching a workshop, and it's called Cultivating a Growth Mindset in the Modern Workplace. It's very much topic oriented to what we've been talking about today. So it focuses on the importance of your network and building your network, having curiosity and following that curiosity on your career path. And then as women specifically, finding that balance in our personal ecosystem between our career, our health, and our wealth. And just based around some interesting statistics also, that as women, we're projected to have a long lifespan right now. And over that time, we may have 1 to 5 different careers. So how do we get there? What do we do? How do we have curiosity and use our network to fulfill that and to do that? And also the fact, the great wealth transfer, that more money is going to be moving into the hands of women to make those financial decisions. And that has the power to really shape and change society. So what's that going to look like? 90% of women in their lifetime, whether they want to or not, will be responsible at some point for managing their own finances. So knowing all of this, how do we prepare ourselves? How do we give ourselves the knowledge, and how do we set our expectations and prepare ourselves for what's to come in the future? So that's what the program is about, focusing on those 3 pillars. It's 45 minutes long, and it's going to be live on March 5th on the Z School platform. And I think, Annalisa, we can share the link. Is that okay?
Absolutely. We'll definitely do that. Wonderful. Melissa, let's go to lightning round. Chocolate or vanilla?
Ooh, vanilla.
Cooking or takeout?
Definitely takeout.
Climb a mountain or jump from a plane?
Climb a mountain.
Have you ever worn socks with sandals?
Never. Anytime I don't have to wear socks, the better.
How would you rate your karaoke skills on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being Mariah Carey?
Yikes. 4, which might be generous. Unless I'm in the car, then I give myself a 10.
What's a recent book you read?
I'm reading Triumph by Talila Millman.
What's your favorite way to practice self-care?
Yoga. I love yoga.
What's a good professional development you've done?
The CFO program at Columbia University, and also Annalisa, our program, of course, Stakeholder Impact Foundation.
What's your definition of a boss mama?
Boss mama, someone who is leading by example for women of the future.
What advice would you give your younger self?
Be fearless, be curious, get out there, do it sooner, build your network, start earlier.
And then where can we find you? Like LinkedIn, anywhere else?
I think LinkedIn is the best, and then the new workshop, which the link will share.
Do you have a final ask, recommendation, or any parting thoughts to share?
I think as women, we have to learn to build community and support each other, to be our authentic selves and to self-advocate, but to create a community of support and support each other, be a mentor, find great mentors. And I love to connect with people. So please reach out on LinkedIn and connect with me. Send me a message though on how we met so I know who you are.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing your story and all this great advice.
Thank you, Annalisa. It's a pleasure to be here and an honor.